Formula One is the pinnacle of motor racing. It is the sport where we see so many great overtakes and some uncanny moments which cannot be explained in some ways. But it's also full of bizarre moments, which is just the same as what I said a few seconds ago, as that is what we're going to be looking at today. Some bizarre F1 crashes. Now, of course, on my channel, I don't even do crashes at all, unless I'm playing the F1 game or something. But we're going to be looking at 5 bizarre crashes that have happened in Formula One. And some of these you may or may not have known they even happened, even by your own favorite drivers, if they're even in this video. The first one we're going to begin with is one that is very, very recent. Of course, behind a fantastic, Formula One season had to come down to a dramatic close. But in September, on the 12th, 2021, we saw something unexplainable. Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, 2 championship rivals battling it out for history. Lewis on the verge of an 8th world championship and Max Verstappen on the verge of a first, and for Netherlands as well. At the Italian Grand Prix, Lewis Hamilton came back from a slow pit stop, and while he was coming out of the pits, a young, hard-charging Max Verstappen in the RB16B came towards turn number 1. And as the late great Ayrton Senna says, if you no longer go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver. And I think Max Verstappen took that a bit too personal, as he went, up the inside while there was no room, as you can see, and hit the curb and climbed on top of Hamilton's car. Now, what's so bizarre about this is the way the car lifted off into the air, which you cannot explain. You can, it's physics, but at the point in time in 2021 championship battle, it's not explainable, not even a bit. And the crazy part was Verstappen's wheel was right on top of Lewis's head, like literally. And luckily they were both all right. And the pictures of this that came out the same day or the following day are just astonishing. The next one that you want to consider is one that happened 11 years before. Sebastian Buemi, of course, one of F1's most forgotten drivers, was doing practice at the Shanghai International Circuit, a circuit that was not supposed to make this long F1 break so long, until he hit the brakes for the hairpin towards the final corner, until his wheels came off, surprisingly. And the bizarre thing is that, maybe some know, but a lot of us don't know how the wheels came off. Some say suspension failure, some say he pushed a button on the car, which, as you can comprehend, is very impossible. If you thought I was going to say possible, think again. And Sebastian Buemi, lost both of his front wheels due to a suspension failure, or maybe pushing a button, who knows, only a few know. And hit the barriers and went into the gravel, which caused a lot of conversation around the F1 paddock, and goes down to be, in my opinion, the most bizarre crash I've ever seen. Not as bizarre as the one you may see next, which was basically a crash involving Michael Schumacher in the same year, just at the final round of the season in Abu Dhabi. A race that was remembered for all the right reasons, thanks to the great Sebastian Vettel. We all miss him. Before that, at the start of the race, Michael Schumacher was side by side with Nico Rosberg in that dreadful Abu Dhabi chicane that they removed. And Rosberg, we don't know if there was contact or not, but Schumacher spun round, and for the 7-time champion, spinning was a bit rare for him. So as he spun round, he was trying to get back in the right direction until a Force India driven by a certain Italian guy that a lot of us don't really remember that very well. Well, if you're a DTS fan, Vitantonio Liozzi. Well, I don't know if he saw him or not, but hit into Schumacher and climbed on top of the side of the car, which was a bit bizarre when I first saw it. I mean, I wasn't an F1 fan in 2010, but it kind of seemed bizarre. And luckily, Schumacher went away unscathed. And the pictures of this, well, just as crazy as the incident. Then we flash back 5 years later to the 2015 Austrian Grand Prix. Well, probably a very boring race that nobody remembers. Well, at the start of the race, there was a very, very weird accident involving two former teammates that you may have guessed already, Fernando Alonso and Kimi Raikkonen. Well, two of the sport's oldest drivers in 2021. This is 2023, just so you know. Well, Fernando Alonso was, behind Kimi Raikkonen, obviously, and Raikkonen got tagged, nearly spun round, and he hit the barriers, and then out of nowhere, a McLaren Honda just came crashing on top of the Ferrari. And, well, luckily for Kimi Raikkonen, he was okay, and so was Fernando. But the way Fernando Alonso climbed on Kimi Raikkonen's car is something that is kind of bizarre. As it isn't easy to do that sometimes. So it was a freak accident, if I'm honest. Another one of those freak accidents has to be 3 years later at the Italian Grand Prix again, at turn number 1 and 2 again, which this time involved a Sauber or an Alfa Romeo, at whatever thing you call it. It was, of course, Marcus Ericsson. Now, this crash, of course, was quite huge and was scary to watch the first time, as Marcus Ericsson in free practice 2 or 1, I think it was free practice 2, was going down the famous pit straight as the DRS was wide open. But as he hit the brakes, that DRS did not close. And when the DRS does not close, that's a scary thing, as he went left and hit the wall at a fast speed, causing the car to flip and flip. And it was very scary to see, but thanks to the safety and the technology of modern Formula One cars, Marcus was just alright. But a DRS failure isn't something that's alright, because a DRS closes the moment you hit the brakes, whether button or no button. The DRS just has to close once you hit the brakes, and the Sauber's DRS system didn't do that. And how scary it is just frightening. It's very scary. And the way the car flipped over isn't alright either, because that's scary, and you can only imagine what he was seeing in the cockpit once the car was flying and flying and flying. So DRS failures aren't something that happens a lot in Formula One. The last time it happened was to Kimi Raikkonen in 2003 or 4, I don't know which year it was, but that wasn't even a DRS failure, that was a rear wing failure, and that happened at Hockenheim. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, please remember to smash that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments, and tell me about more bizarre accidents that you've seen in Formula One that I did leave out in this video. Thank you so much for watching, and from me, the OG boy, it's goodbye.